What I'm about to show you is some of my favorite, like the absolute favorite stuff that I have been able to accumulate. Remember that word. Over time, accumulate. It's actually like a really high percentage of people, not just in America, but like in the world, that have debt. Credit card debt, medical debt, student loan debt. There are so many different forms of debt that it's not that getting out is impossible, but like getting out almost doesn't even make any sense anymore. It's like, why wouldn't I file for bankruptcy? Why wouldn't I default on all my loans, or my car loan, or default on my credit card debt, like all that stuff, you know what I mean? When it comes to collecting and investing, you can't do that effectively when you have debt, because 1 month you're buying this $400 Destin Rivals PC ETB, and then the next month you're trying to pay off that 400, maybe plus like a dinner or a grocery outing. All that stuff adds up, and it doesn't let you move forward. It doesn't let you continue to accumulate. Like in the stock market, for anybody who doesn't know, there's a period where like everything kind of just stays flat. It's very boring. And they call this the accumulation phase. And this isn't like just a stock market overall. This can be like in a stock. Like you could look at GoPro. GoPro was super cheap for a long time. I think it hit like 70 cents, and then it like stayed at the bottom. And then out of nowhere, it popped back up because it rejected that bottom. But also like enough people were buying at that bottom where accumulation happened. A lot of people were like, damn, dude, 70 cents? Like, yeah, I'd love that. I myself bought in at like 120, and then again at like 158 or 155, something like that. When you have debt, you don't have the ability to just buy, because you're so worried about your day-to-day. You're so worried about, can I afford to eat? Can I live my life? Can I just do the normal things that, hopefully some normal person can do? People will always have a difference of opinion on this particular topic, but the big idea behind capitalism is that if you can keep, the peons, if you can keep the lower end of human, people who are seen as subhuman, if you can keep them in this debt, they will continue to live in their world, and they'll never creep into the nice world. They'll never end up at a super fancy steakhouse and then return to their home in a nice, safe, quiet neighborhood. A lot of that is by design. At the end of my channel, what I would love for all of you is that anybody who is watching this can break that cycle. Anybody who is watching this, if you love Game of Thrones, you break the wheel. We need to find a way out. A lot of that genuinely is just saving, investing. I mean, you could be super smart, you could be talented, you could work extremely hard, and maybe you break into some other field, or you start to earn a significantly large wage. All of that would be fantastic, but it is going to take a lot of time. What I can offer you, though, is this right here. You start with a couple of things. I bought this, I think, in like September of last year. I definitely bought this in September of last year. This might have been October. This was at Worlds, Pokemon Worlds. Old Game Boy, which is just something super cool. These I picked up in Japan in April. Yeah. See, like proper Japanese amiibo. And I picked up this one when I picked up that Switch Lite, which ideally, like I would love for that to become like if you see like the Game Boy Advance SP, the Hyrule edition, like that is worth a ton of money. I would hope that one will also appreciate someday. I've got cause statues from like 2019, 2020. Like all of this stuff doesn't happen overnight. Some stuff is very recent. I'm looking at you, Phantasmal Flames. But like the reality of it is, I'm gonna take a quick sip. Reality of it is, this doesn't happen overnight. Unless you already have some level of wealth, which I don't come from money. I don't. You need to buy things and slowly accumulate. You need to start with one thing. You need to find the things that matter to you. You know, like, don't invest in Apple if you don't care about Apple. Apple's probably a solid stock to invest in no matter what, but the point is, like, you should be investing in things that you care about. Like, I genuinely love that collection right there. I didn't even get into the 2 guitars in the back. Like, this one right here, that's like a dream guitar for me. Like, for me, I'm done on guitars. I don't play often enough where I could be like, oh yeah, I need like a 1960 vintage, actual vintage. Like, I don't play enough where I could justify that. But I now have the thing. I was able to like save and wait and bide my time, and it finally made sense for me to grab that. I also got it at a really good deal. You need to look for good deals, and we can spend more time going over how to find a good deal. That's probably going to be where like the vast majority, in my opinion, of early wealth can be made. You know, you've got to find, this is terrible, you have to find someone who doesn't want the thing anymore, doesn't need the thing anymore, or in the worst case, needs to get rid of the thing as quickly as possible for financial reasons, for personal reasons, whatever it is. Finding a super cheap car, finding a super cheap booster box, finding a super cheap guitar,